Welcome back to Cosmosis or whatever. I'm Celia Marie 1243. I'm a fairy, I'm a mystic, I'm a healer, a teacher, bug whisperer, all of those things, a genuine lover of life as well. And that's what this podcast is all about. Understanding the world, understanding the universe, understanding our connection to it. And I am so glad that you are here with me today, listening. And interestingly enough, we have a kind of, I don't want to say morbid topic, but it's definitely one for the feels. So I can't promise that I will not burst into tears at some point or several points throughout this episode today. So yeah, because I'm going to share some pretty personal stuff with you guys. And I don't know, how far we're going into that. Most of you guys who kind of already know me from TikTok lives and stuff, you guys know I'm pretty open for the most part. And I had an experience the other day that I would like to share. And I feel like in a lot of ways, it will probably help us look at the way in which we show up for ourselves, right? So, story time. So, I went to the crystal shop, as one does when you are a fairy, right? I had gone to a crystal shop, my favorite one here on the island. I live in Hawaii, if you didn't know. And I met this woman there. Her name's Devin. And I met Devin and we kind of instantly connected over like this whole mediumship bond thing. We were talking about it together and she was like, oh my gosh, I think you would love this event that me and a friend are holding. And so she told me about it. And I was like, okay, so the event was a self-love event. It was a self-love woman's circle. And the reason why I'm saying it in that voice is because I'm I don't know, how do I explain myself? I feel like a word that I use very often to describe myself is like spicy. All right, so when you think about spicy, you're not necessarily thinking about like, like love, woman's circle, togetherness, and I was just like, and of course, obviously, like, I am in the, like, holistic wellness space and, spirituality, which is all about, genuine, unconditional love and kind of understanding our role in that. But, everybody goes about it differently. And I feel like I tend to go about it differently for other people than I do for myself, which I think is shadow work within itself. And maybe we'll work through some of that during this episode. So, anywho, I'm talking to Devin and she was like, yeah, it's a self-love woman's circle. And she was like, it's going to be really good. And I'm like, something in me told me, okay, yeah, I probably should go to this, right? Because for one, I don't get out of the house as it is. Like, I literally get out of the house to go to the grocery store, to go pick up mail, and then, like, to go to the beach. And then the occasional shopping spree, which I've been trying to cut back on because I noticed that I was just basically doing that to, like, pacify myself, I guess. And it's, like, not the healthiest habit after I'm doing a whole bunch of spring cleaning and realizing that I'm like, why do I keep buying stuff if I literally have no place to put it? Anywho, sorry, keep getting off track. But, so I was like, okay, this is something I need to go to. So it was on a Friday, and, I had that day, like, pretty clear, but it was also at 7:30 at night, and, Hawaii traffic actually gets really, really bad. I didn't know if y'all knew that. It's not as bad right now because we're in a panorama, but it is still pretty gnarly sometimes. I've heard that it rivals LA traffic. So, I always get, like, anxiety, honestly, around, like, driving in traffic. Not because, like, I don't like to drive. I'm not claustrophobic, but I'm claustrophobic when I drive, if that makes sense. Like, I don't like a lot of people around me. I guess that's just in general. So, yeah, the fact that it was at 7:30, I was like, okay, this is, that's good. So throughout the week, I think about it occasionally, and I'm like, that's something I should go to, but am I really gonna go? It's like gonna be, again, kumbaya, like around the fire. I'm like, is this really something that I want to do? And I was like, okay, whatever. We'll get to Friday. We'll see how I feel. So Friday rolls around quicker than expected, per usual, and I had finished my readings for the day and I was kind of relaxing, and I had taken a nap around like maybe 3-4 o'clock, and I was like, okay, I need to make sure, because I can nap for a long time. I was like, I need to make sure that I wake up in time for this. And I was like, well, what if I don't? I was like, if I don't, maybe I just need the sleep, here's me trying to make excuses for not going to this thing, right? Because what does it mean to actually go to this thing? Then I'm going to have to actually like communicate with people that I don't know. And I know this may come as a surprise to you, and I'm not being sarcastic. This may come as a surprise to you guys, but like, I am an introvert for the most part. I guess I would technically be an ambivert, because I can be very extroverted when I'm around the right people and when I'm in a situation that I'm comfortable in. If I'm in a situation where I don't know very many people, I revert back to my inner child, like the little Celia who was scared of like being rejected. Ooh, here we go. Here's the tears. Woo, girl. Okay, yeah. So, when you guys see me online and whatever, that is a space that I'm comfortable in. I'm in control, I think, is kind of what is happening. So to go to somebody else's event that they're hosting and being a part of it and not really knowing anybody, not having a very specific role there and just being like one of the participants, you would think that would give you like, a little bit of leeway and you wouldn't feel so pressured. But actually, I don't know. It's what I'm used to now that I'm thinking about it. Like, I kind of grew up being in those kinds of positions where I was like the lead in things, and like, it was other people that I was supposed to be holding space for. So anyway, more about that in another episode probably. But so it ends up coming to around 6 o'clock. And I'm like, okay, I need to go to this thing. So I begrudgingly and very slowly start getting ready. So I go hop in the shower. I'm like, okay, I need to go take a shower. Hop in the shower. I'm thinking like, should I actually go to this thing? And like, I'm just basically like yanking my feet through the mud as I'm trying to decide whether to go or not. And I'm like, okay, so, I get out of the shower and I'm looking for something comfortable to wear. On the little on the event, it said to wear something comfortable, bring a blanket or a pillow, and it said in parentheses, anything to make you comfortable. So I'm like, okay, so this is gonna be like a comfy cozy, like I could use that's nice. So I was looking for clothes and like I couldn't find anything. When you have like, you want to go somewhere and you want to like you want to have a certain vibe for that event that you're going to. I was looking for a certain vibe and I couldn't find anything. I was kind of irritated. And I'm also very much a stickler for like the way that things go together. Like, they don't absolutely have to match, but they have to go together in my mind. I don't care if you don't think they go together. If I don't think they go together, I'm going to be upset with myself and I'm not going to wear it, and I'm going to be grumpy and I'm probably not going to go. Dramatic? Probably. Me? Absolutely. So I couldn't find anything. I was frustrated. And so I finally just like, I settled on some comfortable yoga pants and a shirt that I actually didn't really want to wear. It's like an old band t-shirt of a friend that isn't really a very good friend anymore. It's like a whole thing anyway. But I was like, whatever. So I'm like, it's not that serious. Like, nobody really cares. And it's not that I'm thinking about like, oh, what they're gonna think that I'm wearing. Like, it's not about that. It was more just like, I wanted to feel good when I went. And so anyway, I ended up getting dressed, and then I'm starting to run late because I don't know, I have bad time management skills. I think it's like partially an ADHD thing. So I always think that I have more time than I actually do. Does anybody else feel like that? Like, you just feel like you have all the time in the world, and then boom, you don't have any time at all and you're late. And I'm like, okay, frick. So I'm like scrambling to get things ready. Then I can't find socks, right? And I'm like, oh, what if this is just a sign from the freaking universe and I'm not supposed to go to this freaking self-love kumbaya circle? Like, what if that's it? And then like something else inside of me, probably my higher self, is just like, what if you're just making a bigger deal out of it than you need to? And I'm like, yeah, touche. Okay. So I finally find some socks. I actually said like a little prayer. I've been trying to get better about just saying little prayers and doing them very intentionally. And for those of you guys who aren't like religious, like when I say prayer, I don't consider myself a religious person either. So when I say prayer, I really just say setting an intention, basically. It's really just putting out your energy out there to the universe and just letting it let it be out there. So that's what I did. I was just like, okay, spirit guides, I want to go to this thing, right? I'm trying to make the effort. Y'all see me. I'm trying to go make the effort. Can you guys help me find some socks? Lo and behold, a minute later, I look inside my drawer in like the very, very corner of it, and I see my socks I'm like, okay, perfect. Great. I don't know where the rest of my socks went. Don't ask me. So I get on the socks. I'm like, okay, this is fun, whatever. And so I'm grabbing, it said to bring a blanket, pillow, something to make yourself comfortable. And I'm like, okay, let me grab a blanket. And so I went to go get a blanket, and the blanket that I wanted to bring, I couldn't find. And I'm like, yo, this is a 300 square foot apartment, dog. Where is my blanket? Where is it? Like, I was getting upset, and I'm like, okay, whatever. And so I go to my washer and dryer. I have a very tiny washer and dryer in my apartment. Thank you, Jesus, for that. Not white Jesus, the other one. The real one. I have that, and I go to it, and then I notice that there's a towel in there. Is it optimal? Not really, but you know what? I'm like, okay, fine. This is comfortable enough. And I like really big towels, like ones that can actually fit my body, okay? I'm not a small girl. So I grab a towel, and then I'm like, okay, I want to bring a pillow. And then I thought about it. I'm like, I'm not going to bring my freaking pillow to this place. I don't know what this... And I'm like, okay, you're overthinking it. Oh, they also said to bring a journal. And so I was like, okay, let me grab a journal. So I have a couple of different journals. And the one that I was looking for, could not find. What do you know? Are we seeing a theme here? Right? And so again, like in the back of my head, I'm thinking, like maybe I'm just not supposed to go to this thing. And then the other voice in my head is like, no, I don't think that's it. I think you're trying to find excuses for yourself not to go. And I'm like, okay, frick. So I do find a journal. It's not the one that I wanted to bring. It's not as like cute. I don't know. I'm all about like how things make me feel, right? Big surprise there, considering my job. Hello. But so I'm like, okay, this journal doesn't make me feel the greatest, but whatever, it's a journal, I'll take it. And so I go to my desk and I get a pen. And I also love when I'm writing in a journal, I like to set myself up for success. So, I mean, journaling isn't my favorite thing to do, the actual writing itself. I do like to go back and look on, kind of look back on things and see what I was thinking and saying and what was going on for me. But the actual act of writing, it hurts my hand. It's annoying to me. Sorry. But I notice if I have cute pens that work well, like I'm more likely to do it. So I try to go get myself a cute little pen. Find a pink pen. Love it. Cute. Self-love. Great. Yes. This is good. So it's already, what time is it? It's like, by now it's like 7:10. Okay. This place is probably, it's probably closer to like 7:15. This place is about 20 minutes from my house. And I had planned on leaving at 7. That was the plan in my head, to leave at 7 o'clock so that I could make it there a little bit early. And I could, in case there was issues with like trying to find it or parking or whatever. And so, okay, so I'm off. I'm late. And I'm like, do I even go? Because I don't want to show up to somewhere I don't even know anybody and I'm late. And then again, that voice is like, no, you need to go. So I'm like, okay. I go, get in the car. I'm thinking about it the whole time. I'm listening to like a YouTube video while I'm driving so that I can like, get the nerves out. And I get there and I'm late. It's like 7:35 or 36 or something like that. So I've never been to the place. I'm trying to look for it. I find it tucked away in this little like parking lot. And then I go to park in this space, and then I park in it. It says tenants only. And I'm like, well, who's tenants? Like, is that people who like live here? Because a lot of buildings here in Hawaii have like, you know, apartments attached to like business areas. And so I'm like, I don't want to get my car towed, whatever. Like, I'm like, okay, all right, what's going on? I'm like looking up at the universe, and I'm just like, okay, and I'm just like, okay, let's just breathe. Okay, you already came all the way out here. You're not going to turn around. I wanted to. Part of me did. And some of you may be thinking, some of you may not, but some of you may be thinking like, Celia, I feel like you're really doing a lot. Like you're making this a bigger deal. And you're right. You wouldn't be wrong. I was making it a big deal, but we know when things like anxiety, social anxiety get to us, like, you know, when overthinking, when our ego, when our thinking mind gets to us, we can catch ourselves in these mind traps. But I feel like the important part is to pull yourself back out. So that's what I did. I literally just sat down, I closed my eyes, and I breathed for a second. I'm like, okay, I need to go find parking somewhere else. It's not that big of a deal. So I go find this spot, and like the only spot that I see is like this weird corner spot. Like I don't even know why it's a spot in a parking lot. And it looks like if a car were to back out of the other places that were filled, like it would hit my car. Does that make sense? Like it was angled in such a way that was and I'm like, really? Like I really don't want to get my car hit and whatever. And so I just park in there. And you know, I'm like, please, I just set the intention. I just say my little prayer thing, and I'm like, you know, please, like, let's just let this go good. Okay? Because I don't have time to be worried about this, whatever. So I park, and I'm like, fine. Go up the stairs, go to this little thing, and of course I walk in, and everybody's already sitting down. It's in kind of like, it's a bar place, like not B-A-R, but B-A-R-R-E, like ballet bar. And so, you know, there's like this big room with like wooden floors, mirrors, and like, you know, the ballet bars on the side, and everybody's sitting down on like little yoga mats or whatever. And there's like this really beautiful crystal thing in the middle, and then the two instructors are in the front, and of course they're facing me as I come into the class, and they're talking, and everybody goes silent, obviously, because I'm walking in hella late. Not hella late, but I mean, I'm later than everybody else. I think everybody else got there on time or early. So I walk in, and I try to make as little noise as possible. I spread out my towel. Hello, nobody else has a towel, but whatever. I spread out my little towel. I put down my stuff, and everybody kind of just like looks, and I'm like, oh, hi. And then the instructors, they're like, hey, like, glad you could make it, whatever, you know. What are they gonna tell me? Like, get out, you missed the first 5 minutes, get out. But they're like, I'm like, oh yeah, sorry, I'm late. And they're like, no, that's fine, actually you're right on time. We were just going around the circle, and we were just like kind of introducing ourselves. We are saying what we're introducing ourselves, saying how long we've been here. We are giving one thing that we're really good at, and then one thing that we might struggle with or we need to work on. I'm like, oh great. So there was a couple people before me, so I had a minute to like get myself together and think about what I wanted to say. And I had done that. We went around. I got to mine, and I was like, hi, you know, I'm Celia, whatever, blah blah blah. And I was saying that my thing that I'm good at is holding space for other people. Like not me about to cry again. Hello. And here's me like choking back tears while I'm there too, right? And like I don't even know why. And I know my heart chakra has been insane lately. Like it's like bleeding. Like I don't know. That's for a different episode. But yeah, so I like almost want to cry just saying that. And I'm just like, hi, like I'm Celia. I'm good at holding space for other people. I'm really good at like, you know, crafting unique experiences and helping people heal. And, you know, I think I have a really creative mind for understanding like how to deliver messages to people and how people can, you know, understand things, whatever. And so then it gets to, you know, what I struggle with. And then I want to cry even more, and everybody's staring at me, and I'm just like, damn. So I'm like, one thing that I really struggle with though is making time for myself. And I kind of just paused and thought about that. And again, I wanted to cry, and I want to cry now. And I'm like, as much as I teach people how to love themselves, and I'm so good at holding space for other people, I also realize that I don't do that enough for myself. And so that is actually a big reason why I'm here, is because I wanted to do that. And so, everybody's, giving their little smiles and nods of approval, like, yeah, girl, we feel you. And that did make me feel a little bit better. So we kept going around the circle. We did a little exercise, a little self-love, like meditation, and before it even started, I burst into freaking tears. Like, I'm talking full-on bawling. My nose was running. There was somebody else who was too, which actually made me feel better, and she went to go get a thing of tissues so that my face wasn't just falling off on the ground or on my towel. And so I was like, oh, thanks. And so we were both just like grabbing at those tissues. And then, so we did a couple of different activities, and one of the activities particularly was, again, there was mirrors in the whole place, and they had asked that we each get up in front of everybody, go to the mirror, and talk to ourselves and tell ourselves at least one thing that we love about ourselves. So immediately I'm like, okay, cool. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, that's weird. I'm like, I don't know, that feels very, I do mirror work, honestly. I do mirror work a lot. I will even legit like stand naked in front of my mirror from time to time and just pinch the fat on my body and like tell it that I love it. Like, I do those types of things all the time. But for some reason, it was just really, I think it was weird for me. I don't know where that comes from. I need to unpack that. But it was weird for me to like think about doing it in front of everybody and like talking about what I love, because I feel like that's an intimate conversation between me and myself. I don't know if that's like a bigger issue that I have, or if it was just like how I am because I'm a private person. I'm not a private person though. See, that's the thing. Maybe it's just because I feel like it's because I didn't know them. I really think that's it. I feel like if it was a group full of y'all that, I know, that I've been around, that I'm familiar with the energy, I would have done it. And it's not even out of a judgment thing. It's almost just like I felt like they were not, it felt like I didn't have to invite them into that private moment. And I ended up doing it when I was at home. I'm skipping ahead. Anyway, but yeah, so there's like maybe 10 women, 10, maybe a little bit more women inside the thing, like 12 of us, maybe. And so, I'm about in the middle of the circle, and everybody's going up and they're saying their things, and some of them are crying and whatever. And then somebody's like, the instructor was like, is there anybody who absolutely does not want to do this? And here's me, my face is literally just covered in tears, dripping from my face, and my hand shoots up immediately. I'm like thinking in my head, like, why are you not going up there? And so one thing that was really triggering for me, honestly, is that everybody who was going up kept saying like that they were proud of themselves because they were showing up for themselves, and they're like basically like giving themselves pep talks because they were glad that they went up in front of the mirror and in front of everybody and said it. And that might not have even been what they meant, but that's how I took it, and I was triggered. And we know our triggers don't always have to do, like, our triggers have more to do with us than other people. And so I noticed that about myself. And so they gave me another opportunity, like if I wanted to go up, and I didn't. I was the only one in the whole group who did not go up in front of the mirror and say something. And part of me was like, I was crying, and part of me was thinking like, oh, they probably think, something's wrong with me. They probably, think that I hate myself or whatever. And like, and just hearing everybody saying, I can't remember if I said it outright, but there was somebody saying, there were several people who were like, thank you for showing up for yourself. Like, you always show up for yourself. And again, that kind of just struck me. And I'm like, am I not showing up for myself? Like, by not being up there like everybody else? Am I not showing up for myself? But I realized in that moment, for me, just being there was showing up for myself. And I shared that later on in the circle. And, you know, I wasn't necessarily paying too much attention to what everybody, like, had responded, you know, about it. You know, like, their facial expressions or whatever. But I just felt really empowered in that moment, honestly. And I really feel like that is the first time and the best way that I've shown up for myself in months. Excuse me. It's me, like, crying and, like, coughing and like, it's my throat chakra activating as well. But all of that to say, the longest episode I've had to date, for me to just tell that really long story. Basically, all of those reasons that I had not to go, all of those reasons, I could have chosen any of those excuses not to go to that thing. And even just saying it back, I feel dramatic, right? I feel very, it feels very vulnerable, because I'm thinking, like, okay, well, you know, people are listening to this and they're probably thinking, like, Celia, that's not a big deal. But it was a big deal for me. And I did it. And I think that has a lot to do with my own shadow work. I know that has a lot to do with my own shadow work, because, you know, I've been in a lot of situations, especially as a child, where I've been told that, you know, like, I'm being dramatic or reacting a certain way to things. So that stuck with me. And like I said, I think I guess my biggest message here is just that understand that showing up for you is so much your own thing. You know, don't be discouraged by the way that people are saying they're showing up for themselves, or the way that they're proud of themselves, because that might not be your story. And if you're worried about judgment, who cares? Because those people don't know you, or even if they did, you know, like, you know yourself better than anyone. And you know what you've done, and you have to be honest with yourself. I'm not saying to lie to yourself, because I really sat with myself for a while, and I think I will for a couple of days, and just ask myself, did I really show up for myself? But I can genuinely, honestly say, yes, I showed up for myself in that moment. And I didn't have to prove anything to anybody. I feel like that was also a big part of why I was actually really proud of just everything that went down in that little workshop, is because, you know, they don't know what I'm dealing with. They don't know how difficult it was for me to get there. And I don't owe that to any of them, because I don't know them. And even if I did, I don't owe it to anyone, but I owe it to myself to show up for myself. And I did. And yeah. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Don't judge yourself for the way that you show up for you, because everybody's completely different. And don't pressure yourself to overdo it out of other people and what their expectations of themselves and other people are. Take yourself as you are. Maybe next time when I'm more comfortable, I'll go up there. But for now, that was me showing up for myself. And that's something I can be proud of. Okay? So, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope that was somewhat inspirational for you. I'm sure a lot of you could possibly relate. If you think I'm being dramatic, too bad. It's my podcast, not yours. Anyways, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Somewhere, I don't know. I need to start recording these or something. I don't know that I do. Anyway, go write it in my comments on a TikTok or my YouTube or Instagram or something. Maybe we'll make like a place where you guys can make comments so I can see. But hope you enjoyed it. Love you guys. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to yourselves. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Or you'll hear me in the next episode anyway. Bye.